3, 2, 1. Vibing. 150 subscribers special. Dark Shadow Maverick. 150 subscribers special. Woo! I've done what I said. First thing you can see. Just take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and escape from the city. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'm through. Oh yeah, adventures every time. Just something's got to live and learn. My face said. Save on and set you free. Follow me, set you free. We will escape from the city. I've been through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through to you. Hell yeah! Woo! Dark Shadow Maverick 150 subscribers special! Woo! And you know what? Seeing as it's 150 subscribers, the Maverick Nation has now become 150, Mavericks strong. We are now 150 Mavericks strong. This Maverick Nation. I'm going to do a little something. After I indulge a little on this little new thing, this little new special I just came up with here for our 150. This was just split second, spur of the moment. I came up with this. It's sort of a little something, actually. Could indeed be, well. I believe in the last part of What If Sans had the Carnage and Riot symbiotes, the Riot symbiote detached itself from Sans. Let's say this is a little bit of a parallel universe where the opposite happens, and symbiotes that get swapped out. And so, basically, where's the Carnage symbiote gonna go? I haven't even told you guys the title. That's basically what exactly the title is going to be. What If Carnage Izuku was in Mortal Kombat, or more specifically, modern Mortal Kombat, shit, more specifically, modern Mortal Kombat, that's the good shit. By modern, I mean like MK9 through MK11, because MK11 was like the last Mortal Kombat game that's been made so far. So, yeah. But like that and afterwards. So like MK9 through MK11 and afterwards. Like, we can make up our own little story. But you guys might be wondering, like, but Dark Shadow Maverick, like, first of all, like, my reason and like how the hell this is going to affect everything, and second of all, how exactly the plot is going to go now for the whole thing. Basically, the plot as in, you know, like, because of the whole Chronica deal, like how it effed up time, like, really bad. Well, basically, see, whenever I say modern Mortal Kombat, I don't mean like at the very beginning, like we're starting at the very beginning of this modern Mortal Kombat era, like Mortal Kombat 9. I mean, like, our starting point in this story will be towards the end, actually, of Mortal Kombat 11. However, in terms of like DLC characters, so we can have some extra fun, the DLC characters from like 9 and 10, I believe there are some DLC characters in 9, but most of the DLC characters in 10 will be in this, even though the DLC characters in 10 weren't in Mortal Kombat 11. And this, seeing as I'm already altering a lot, the DLC characters from like 10 will be in like this, even though this is more like the very, very last little bit of Mortal Kombat 11's story. And so, not only Mortal Kombat 11's DLC characters, but Mortal Kombat 10's DLC characters. Yes, that's right. I'm gonna have some fun with this shit. And basically, how exactly am I planning to do this? Like, how exactly are we gonna start out the story? How is everything gonna get done? And like Carnage Izuku, but didn't Izuku kill himself? This is like an alternate reality, guys, and like like whenever this alternate version of Sans, instead of like the Riot symbiote being let out, it's the Carnage symbiote that's let out. And so where's Carnage gonna go? Well, basically, the Nether Realm is like Mortal Kombat's version of Hell, so, you know, Izuku, if he were to end up in Hell because suicide, you know, Carnage, Carnage would do some digging, and eventually he would figure out through like the God Key, basically through the God Key, that Izuku was apparently that this realm that he had been dropped in was not the same Earth that he had been in before. It wasn't even Undertale Earth. It wasn't even like MHA Earth. it was Mortal Kombat's Earth realm. And so he's like, okay, what's this whole freaking reality's version of hell? And he ends up figuring out that it's called the Nether realm. And he's like, okay, what the hell do I do to get to the Nether realm? Because Carnage, along with the other stuff that him and Izuku did, they also picked up the ability to sense energy. And Carnage, well, he couldn't do it at the time because he was panicked, because Izuku was literally trying to kill himself, and it worked. But now that things have calmed down a little bit, now Carnage is able to freely sense Izuku's presence and where that presence is inside the Nether realm. However, basically, Carnage gets a message implanted into his brain hole by Noel, of all people. Like, the Elder Gods can tell that some sort of, like, magical voodoo alien bullshit is going on, and they're trying to intercept it. Little do they know that what they're trying to intercept is a message. The first person to actually notice that this is a message is Fujin. Because Fujin and Raiden, both at the same time, are trying to intercept the message. But Fujin is actually the first one to notice that it is like a message. Raiden doesn't notice till Fujin tells him. So basically, yeah. Raiden wondering, like, what the frick is a message, like, doing around? Raiden's very confused. Raiden's very, very, very confused. And so is Fujin. Basically, because of all this confusion, basically the message sent by Null is able to intercept through, like, cut through like a 1,000-degree knife through butter. And Raiden and Fujin are just like, fuck. They're just like, damn it. Now we gotta find where the message is going to. That's whenever, like, you could just hear someone say, like, oh, hell no. Oh, no, 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 no. Think again. He's like, think again. And that's whenever all of a sudden, like, a fist straight to Fujin's face sends him flying. And Raiden goes to check up on Fujin and realizes that he got knocked out. One punch. And this man got knocked unconscious. Like, Raiden's trying everything, but nothing's working. Like, he knows he isn't dead, but he surely is not conscious. And is not going to be conscious for quite some time. And Raiden goes to look for the guy who, like, did the punch, did the thing. And he just sees this guy, and he's like, who are you? And basically the person is just like, I am Null. And you are interfering with my message. And Raiden would just be like spouting some, BS about the Elder Gods and, like, interfering with different realms and shit. And, basically, Null would be like, please, You don't even know the half of it. You don't even know the half of the shit we gotta go through on a daily basis. Your ass. And Raiden is just like, what do you mean? And Noel's like, exactly, you don't know the half of it. Oh, and just to make sure you don't get in the way of the message, just like, punches him in the gut. It sounded like Duck now whenever I did that, like, you thrust your pelvis, you thrust your pelvis, you thrust your pelvis, Duck man. He just literally just, and just like, Raiden is like, why are you? And dude, Noel's just like, no. You're not the one who gets to ask the questions here. Right now, I am pissed. After everything that's been happening, everything that has happened, I am more than pissed. I'm fucking livid. And you guys are just testing me beyond what I'm willing to deal with. You are just testing the wrong guy at the wrong time. You gotta understand this, Raiden? He just pulls him up like, Raiden, you gotta understand this. I don't give a who you are. You intercept my shit one more time, or do anything to mess with my guys one more time, and you will be picking up literal daisies in hell. Yeah, Noel is not happy. And Raiden can tell this. I believe I remember her name. Basically, Raiden and Fujin are just like, Fujin is unconscious. Raiden is like coughing up blood on his knees and elbows, like just like really in pain. And there's this lady who comes out of nowhere trying to get up in Noel's business, because apparently, like, around this time, like I forget the name of the Earth guy, but basically he's fighting everybody, like the Earth realm people. But unlike in canon, Centurion basically sensed the presence of a redonkulous power, and basically Chronicle's like, Centurion, you do it. Like, you do the thing. I mean, Shinnok's dead, so yeah, whatever. I'll have my Earth guy who can freaking mess with time. I'll have him, fight these guys, and you just do whatever the frick. Yeah, whatever the frick. You just check out that power. You do that. And so basically, Centurion basically tries to go up all into no shit, trying to figure out what the hell was happening. And Noel is just like literally with the back of the hand, swipe, and into like oblivion. literally, Centurion gets, like, freaking obliterated by the freaking bitch slap. Like, bitch slap obliteration. So yeah, Centurion just gets, like, one-shotted. And Kronika can feel that. Kronika's fighting, like, Liu Kang, and so Raiden just decides, like, he can sense the fight in between Kronika and Liu Kang. And so he goes over there to, like, supercharge Liu Kang to help fight Kronika. And he's just like, Fujin, like, you deal with this dude. And Fujin is just like, are you serious? This guy knocked me out with one punch. Like, literally, like, Saitama my shit. Like, it's like a serious punch of death. And, yeah. Noah's just like, who the hell is Kronika? And Raiden is like, Kronika? Like, at the last second, like, Raiden just now realizes, oh shit, they mentioned Kronika. Like, Raiden knows that basically this null person is going to do whatever it takes to make Fujin make him tell about this Kronika, whoever the shit she is. Oh yeah, I remember now, Garrus. Anyways, around this time that Null is basically torturing Fujin is whenever they finally defeat Garrus. And you know, the whole thing with Raiden charged Liu Kang goes and happens. As they're traveling throughout time, Null can sense this, but he still continues to basically torture Fujin until he spills the beans. And spill them he does. I mean, Null knows how to torture people. I mean, you would think, being the little creator of all the original symbiotes, you think you would know how to torture somebody. Yeah, so, basically, Null figures out all the information. He basically competitive bitch toss Fujin all the way into a wall, a freaking pagoda, pagoda, yeah, a pagoda, the things that constantly reappear in Godzilla films, the pagodas. Basically, he just competitive bitch tosses him all the way into a wall of a pagoda. And, you know, Fujin is just lights out. Because, no, it's just after hearing everything, after getting all the beans spilled about this, Kronika, it's just like, oh, and, from what I'm able to sense, the Nether Realm, like, Noah's having a Jeff Goldblum moment from, like, Jurassic Park. Anyway, so just like, it's basically just like, just, you know, as Kronika is, you know, finally just about to just Thanos clap everyone into, like, an endless time warp destruction of whatever the shit she planned to do. Nola's not having that. He just like, he's just like, there is one last call that Noel decides to make before, you know, getting in the midst of the whole fight with Kronika and Raiden Power and Liu Kang. He calls, he basically calls up, all of the other members of Team Symbiosis from my What If Izuku had the Carnage symbiote What If. Basically, he calls all of them up, and they're basically just like, oh, don't mind if we do. Yeah, basically, you got Venom, you got Agony, you got Phage, you got Scream, you got Slasher, all of the different symbiotes. And, they just, Noel is just like, sit back and watching as Kronika is trying to fight a Raiden-charged Liu Kang and all of these different freaking symbiotes all at the same time. And basically, something that Kronika doesn't even notice is that Noel basically just oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Basically just snuck away with the hourglass. Yeah, that's right. And so Kronika is actually losing some power. Not just some power, like a lot of power. And not even reviving Garrus or Sentron, like, even if she, could do that. Not even that is able to help her. But she's getting, just thrashed on. And, once everybody's done just killing Kronika, as she's just pleading for mercy, and all the symbiotes are just like, mercy, we have no room left for mercy. And then they will just all kill Kronika. And, well, then they would basically go to find Null, and then they would see that Null basically made his way out like a bandit with the hourglass. And, well, basically, the first one to realize would be the, symbiote of Shoto and Shoto himself, because it's them with the symbiotes on over them. Basically, Shoto would be the first one to notice that. Oh wait, that's the Carnage No, why are you with the Carnage symbiote? Wait, how is it still alive? Because he notices that the Carnage symbiote is moving, but just barely. Like it's fighting for its life. Yeah, so the power of the hourglass, he's just able to pull Carnage out of the nether realm. Using the power of the hourglass, he was just able to rip him out of there. And, the nether realm, if it wasn't for the white flame, Carnage would have probably been just in so much more pain than he actually was. But the white flame kind of coated him and made it a lot easier to deal with. And basically everyone's just asking, what are they going to do with Carnage now? Izuku is dead. And Null's and that's just the thing. And Null just is did anyone notice something weird in between the time that I retrieved the hourglass and the time that I had disappeared? And then they're just everybody's just oh shit, yeah! Something about and then before anyone can answer, just Noel just regurgitates up Izuku Midoriya's body. Or more or less the alternate universe's Izuku Midoriya's body. Basically, instead of saying that, he just doesn't kill himself, let's just say that he does, but he doesn't, It's kind of like halfway. So he succeeded, yet he doesn't succeed. Basically, Carnage will go over to, reach a hand out and be like, meet with the trembling hand, and finally clasp and merge together as the bodies would become one once more. And, Carnage would kind of just disappear into Izuku as his neck and head would pop out of the in-between neck and shoulder area. And as soon as that happens, Izuku, to everyone's happiness, even Null, especially Null, going through all that work, even stealing the hourglass behind Kronika's back, going through all that work, better be happy. Everybody's just unbelievably happy. And Shoto just goes and shh, boom, tackle hugs him to the ground. Tackle hugs this man to the ground. And Liu Kang, the Raiden charged Liu Kang, and he basically just sees all of these different symbiote covered people, and he just sees the entire scene surveying, and then the Raiden inside of him basically will just be like, oh, this is what was wanted. Okay, what is this even though? Because Raiden still wouldn't understand. And now that with Liu Kang, that's whenever Noah would basically have the chore of explaining everything to basically everyone who would eventually be brought back. Yes, instead of the original ending to Mortal Kombat 11, where Liu Kang and Katana basically start at the very beginning of time, or whatever. Basically, the hourglass is used for something else. The hourglass is used to fix this shit. Because basically, before Null could even think of anything, basically, with all their strength regained, Izuku and Carnage, their minds finally, back in one piece. Carnage is like, Izuku, are you awake? Alive? And Izuku's just like, oh, why did you stop me? And Carnage actually gives him the news that he didn't stop him, really. The only reason how he even got back to him is he basically says it's a long explanation. I don't want to make this one any longer than it already is going to be, I can tell you that. Basically, he just explains everything, and Izuku's just like, so, now we're here. Carnage, I'm sorry for hitting you back then, but you must understand. There's a reason why I did that. And Carnage would just be like, just basically be like, Izuku, I know this is the second time that life has dealt you a dirty hand in terms of family screwery, but this Earth realm that the Elder God known as Raiden speaks of, this Earth realm could be our, I can't actually believe I'm saying this, third chance. We have a third chance. And Izuku's like, finding a life, living, finding a way to live a true full life. And Carnage would just explain to Izuku that, however, somehow it's not all going to be stagnant, as there is indeed some, stuff to be doing. Like Black Dragon, Red Dragon, even shit to do with Kotal Khan. Because, that shit is... If that shit wasn't already confusing enough... Yeah, characters that, have actually come back from the dead and aren't as evil anymore. But not only that, but apparently there have been portals opening up that have just caused all sorts of freaky deaky shit to start happening. I can't believe I almost said freaky dick. And, and he's just like, oh, well, name one. And, Connor just like, faction or just a result from a portal? Okay, then name two. One faction, one result from a portal. And Connor's just like, ooh, I like this. You seem to have a pep in your step already. Well, Carnage, I mean, from the sounds of everything, this place might actually really need us. To give Carnage a new meaning. This Earth realm, these Earth realmers, they may have previously known Carnage to be something negative in their eyes. But after we're done with this place, and every other place, Carnage will have a new meaning. And it will be because of us. And that's when Shoto would actually bring up something up. It seems that the battle with Kronika, and the whole time shit, it wasn't just time, it was space-time. And that's because of the whole deal with Null. And so basically their world is completely blown sky high. And they don't even know who survived and who died, except for the ones that are right there right now. That is not a reference to, like, a Naruto opening. So basically, some characters from What If Izuku had the Carnage symbiote are indeed in this. It's a given. Come on, why not? Basically, Izuku's like, fine. Why not? Dibs on the hourglass, though. But they both say it at the same time, so, Izuku actually covers himself with the lean Carnage suit whenever he says this. He's like, dibs on the hourglass, though. And so basically, he just remakes it the way he wants it to be. Basically, the way he makes it, basically everything is, pretty, pretty standard for a Mortal Kombat game. Pretty all good as well and standard. The Black Dragon are still a thing. The Red Dragon are still a thing. The Special Forces are actually still a thing. Even though Sonya is still... Actually... Hmm. Actually, some of the guys that died should have probably been brought back. I mean, Carnage and Izuku are supposed to be the good guys, so... Okay, Sonya... But then again, I don't want to Frozen to it. So... For all intents and purposes, even though this is really sad and really mean of me to do, I don't want to Frozen 2 this, so... Sorry guys, but I am not going to Frozen 2 my own What If. So Sonya's still dead. But hey, that involves character development for a certain somebody who is going to be a certain ship. And I think some of you might even already know what it is. But, basically, it's going to be another time skip. But, along the time skip, along the whole thing of the time skip, before that actually happens, due to the screwery with the whole, basically, instead of just using the hourglass, Carnage basically just uses genetic memory to become the hourglass. Or, fuse it, basically merge it with him. And so he basically has the power to do whatever. So does Izuku. They go hand in hand, so why the hell not? So yeah, basically now Izuku has the power. Carnage has the power to just use the power of the hourglass. And, in a sort of way, because, well, Izuku was kind of bummed out, because of the whole thing of why he even decided to commit suicide to begin with. So, as a way to sort of, fix things, Carnage decides to use the power of the hourglass to, mess with Izuku's age. Where he would be around the same age as Cassie, Jackie, Kumjin, and Takeda. And by Cassie, I mean Cassie Cage, and by Jackie, I mean Jackie Brinks. And, Takeda and Kumjin. And, in reducing his age, basically he would reduce his age down to, around that area. And, for everything. And Izuku would have realized that Carnage did this for him, and he's just like, thanks, buddy. And Carnage would just be like, no problem, pal. You no problem, partner. That this actual reducing of his age actually helps him with some very depressing things. It helps him with his depression, now that he's no longer stuck in that certain time frame where every day is a constant reminder of the fact that he tried to kill himself. now he's no longer in that certain, area. He's no longer at that certain age. So, he's actually a lot better. And he was already improving with, like, the other things that he was hearing about. And, there is actually some strings pulled. And so he is able to be on the team with Jackie, Cassie, and Kungen and Takeda. He's able to be on their team as the newest member. Oh, and another thing, basically, Izuku was like, okay, one portal, one faction, because he wanted to be informed and all that, because basically now Izuku is aware there's something to go after. By the way, because of Izuku's new and improved outlook on life, Team Symbiosis is now within Earthrealm. And Team Symbiosis, well, basically, let's just say, they are like a side branch of the team that Izuku's on with Cassie, Takeda, Kungen, and Jackie. Basically, Izuku is Team Symbiosis' #1 guy on the side. Because he basically has 2 different jobs, and he loves them both. Work that you love, there's work that you love doing, and then there's 2 different jobs of work that you love doing. Isn't that just perfect? And so basically about the whole certain realms and factions. Well, just so seems that there does indeed seem to be a certain robotic cop, like called RoboCop. Actually, they call him RoboCop. Well, at least that's what he's been called by certain people. This RoboCop person is apparently after the one known as Kano. Basically, the guy who is, as of now, due to some, problems in relations with, Kano and Cabal, currently the new leader. Because Cabal just decided, screw you guys, I'm going somewhere else. You're just like, screw you guys, I don't care, going somewhere else. And so that would make Kano the new leader of the Black Dragon, and that would make him enemy #1 for, like, was it Detroit? Yeah, I think it was Detroit Police. Basically, that would make him enemy #1 for the Detroit Police. And so they would basically have RoboCop go after Kano. And so basically, Izuku and Carnage, they'd be like, this is interesting. But a thing about this is that Izuku and Carnage and Agony and Shoto, because Agony is Shoto's symbiote, and, Izuku and Shoto are pretty much, Izuku is Shoto's adopted brother from my what if Izuku had the Carnage symbiote, what if? Basically, yeah. So, of course, wherever Izuku went, Shoto would want to be with his bro man. So, of course, you know, they would kind of. Izuku not even questioning why Shoto's following him because he already knows. They're bros and they stick together. Through heaven, through hell, they stick together. And so basically, one of the higher ups in like the whole operation actually had it to where, you know, if these two were both going, because like Shoto isn't a part of the team yet, Izuku is, yet Shoto basically follows him everywhere. Izuku basically trying to reason with Shoto, being like, dude, like sometimes will you try not to follow me? Like, we both have cell phones. We like split the money in half. Like, we have cell phones. We can get into contact if we get in trouble. And Shoto's just like, okay. And Agony would just be like, damn it. And basically, yeah. Due to the kind of third wheeling that Shoto was doing, there was sort of a little thing that was made happen. Basically, now that they're kind of away from each other, like, they kind of split their, allowance. And it wasn't long until, Izuku was kind of running thin. Like, running dry. And so he admitted he was gonna need somewhere to crash. And, he knew that Jax was not going to let him crash with Jackie. And, Kunjin, Takeda, literally, like, Carnage even comments on this, like, his name sounds like Taketos. He's basically like, his name sounds like Taketos. Literally, that's stupid. What the frick? Like, if his father Kenshi hated him so much, why doesn't he just go up to him and tell him that? Why does the guy name him Taketos? Or Takeda, whatever the frick. And Izuku would just be like, okay, Carnage, please calm down. Like, Takeda is like right there. And Kunjin is just like, and your problem with me, Carnage? And Carnage would just be like, well, the great Kung Lao, who won so many Mortal Kombat tournaments, gets taken down by Goro, and then several generations later, there's Kung Lao. Kung Lao gets his ass handed to him, and you're supposed to be, like, one of his, like, offspring or something. So, like, very low expectations, like, right off the bat. And, Izuku would just be like, that face that you give someone whenever you're just like, dude, stop. Like, dude, stop. You're being an asshole. Basically, Carnage and Izuku both know that already discussed, doesn't really need to be discussed, but already discussed, because Jax apparently did think it needed to be discussed, and he almost got one of his arms, like, completely swallowed whole and taken off by Carnage for being a little bit too hands-on the throat. Carnage mistaking that for a literal threat on Izuku's life. Like, automatic, like, right away. Threat on his life. The life of his host, the life of his friend, the life of his, family. And, Izuku's just like, oh, please don't tell either Shoto or Agony about this, Carnage. And Carnage is like, why? And Izuku's like, you know why, Carnage. You know what Shoto would do. You know what Shoto would do to freaking Jax if you found out that he almost did that. And, so basically the only one left, like, no Kumgen, no Takeda, no freaking Jackie. No one left would be Cassie Cage. Cassie's just like, no comments, don't worry. It has to be this way until you can get enough money to live somewhere your damn self. Apparently because you thought you could do it, but apparently you can't do it. So, basically, disconnecting from your brother was the stupidest thing you could have done. And, Cassie starts to realize that Izuku's skin is boiling. And you guys, fans of my What If Izuku Was the Carnage Symbiote series, know what that means. Carnage is pissed. Like, calling him stupid? Like, you lady? Like, you asshole! And basically, Cassie would be like, what the hell's going on? And Izuku's like, oh, Carnage, please stop. She doesn't know about the whole skin boiling thing. And she doesn't know any better to not, insult us. Because of what usually happens afterwards. And, Cassie feels... Cassie Cage is starting to feel challenged. After hearing that from Izuku, is just like, she's starting to feel challenged. And she likes that. She like it. So I was like, yeah, sure, you can crash in my place. Sure, I have no problem. No problem at all. And really, this is all just because she's being enticed. But it's like the deadliest catch. It's like that guy, like, what was his name? Mike. Not John. I don't know. But he just like turns around and he sees the raptor and he's like, clever girl. It's like that. It's like the deadliest catch. Like Cassie Cage is like interested. And Jackie takes note of this. That Cassie's actually interested now. And, Cassie actually takes note of the fact that Izuku is doing a lot of writing down in little notebooks. And before she can even ask, Carnage answers. It's basically like, before you even ask, these are simple journals of research. Izuku has several journals, actually. And Cassie would be like, might I ask, what exactly he's researching currently. And Carnage would just be like, everything. And Cassie would be like, wait, what? I mean, I would think this place would be relatively similar to, where you guys used to live. I mean, at least from the looks. I mean, I don't know about everything else, but, at least the looks. And Carnage is like, yes, you are, this is true, but, you see, Izuku has a very methodical mind. Very methodical. So much so that this is basically so normal, I can just fall asleep while he is writing down notes on basically anything and everything he can find that's interesting to him. And Cassie's just like, well, do you know the specifics of what he's writing down now? Oh. You thought you were going to be the one to catch him. And Cassie just blushes like a storm. She's like, wait, what? She's like, can you repeat that? And Carnage is just like, do. And, they finally get over to Cassie's little humble abode that she got for herself. It actually does have several bedrooms. Just enough, to be accommodatable enough, like, for whatever, whenever, like, the stuff. And the things. And the stuff and the things. And basically, whenever, like they all get in and everybody, like, gets their stuff and puts it in the places. And basically, Cassie's looking all around and, she does indeed find a room where Izuku can stay. Just like trying to basically brush off everything prior. But, Carnage can tell hormones rising, like her hormones are rising, the more she thinks about it. And basically, Cassie's just like, oh, I can tell you're going to be one hell of a little pest, aren't you? Now, aren't you, you little bugger? And Carnage would just be like, oh, I didn't know, did I shoot your dog or something? Lady, you need to learn to chill. Like Izuku here. Maybe it's the fact that he's just so happy that he's gonna get to meet not only RoboCop, but Kano, the current boss of the Red Dragon soon. Yeah. You could say we have plans for tomorrow. Cassie Cage. And Cassie's just like, yeah, plans of getting yourself killed. And she was just walking into her room, slammed the door behind her. And, basically, Izuku and Carnage would, head over to, their room that they were assigned by Cassie. And they actually quite like it. They find it's quite nice. But one thing that Carnage did make sure to take note of and tell Izuku about, before they decided to, Let's hit the hay for the night. One little thing that Carnage noticed is that apparently from like how much of Cassie's, the door to her room was actually open, apparently she had forgotten to close it. And so basically, yeah, Carnage would have been able to see like a little thing that leads out to a balcony. And so, well, Carnage only really being half asleep. It's just so that he can pick up on anything. If this place is going to be their home, they, just like they would their original home, are gonna protect it. Team Symbiosis or no, they're still heroes. They're still the symbiote hero Carnage. So basically, whenever it's heard, basically breaking in through a door, and the screeching of someone, and then like gunfire, like guns ablazing, and even the sounds of several things hitting against the wall. Like Carnage is like, Izuku! And Izuku's just like, what the? Carnage, what the hell? And then Izuku can hear it. Guns ablazing, other things seem to be hitting against a wall, and screams, and like grunts, and then like some sort of maniacal laughter, and some guy talking with an Australian accent. It almost seems like there's a glow in between the wall of like Cassie's room and the wall of Izuku's room. And basically, Izuku sees that. Well, basically he's like looking for, Cassie's door to her room. That's whenever Carnage is like, I think the reason why you can't find the door to her room is because look down. And he basically realizes it's been caved open. Like someone like threw a bomb and it blasted it. And then he just sees all these bullet holes and knives stuck to the freaking wall and ceiling. And he sees Cassie in a corner, like, demoralized, like unable to focus, like, calm down. And Kano is all the way on the other side, on the other side of the area, like the entire room, like pretty much the entrance to the balcony area. And that's whenever Kano begins to feel some things tugging at his arms. And then, he just sees a foot flying straight towards him, nailing him in the cybernetic eye, and then smashing him all the way straight through the entire balcony. And, like, sending him all the way down to the ground. And then, someone would descend downwards, and, Kano would basically look at this person. The person would see that this person had a cybernetic eye. Yeah, this person was definitely Kano. Plus, with all the extra knives, yeah, there's no mistaking it. And even the accent, like, it's freaking platinum clad, this guy is Kano. And, oh boy, is Izuku pissed. Because, Kano actually realizes something. whenever he was like getting like kicked off the freaking balcony, like straight through it, it was a slimmer form than basically the form that kicked him straight through the balcony, like off of it, sent him straight through, all the way through the other side, and all the way down to the ground, was a slimmer form than that of whatever the hell this is. Yes, that's right, ladies and gents. And the time it took for Kano to actually get to his feet, Izuku and Carnage are already back to their feet, and they transformed into monster form Carnage. And Cassie is finally up and at him, and she just looks at the balcony, and it's like somebody blasted a ray gun through it. Like a giant, like, super plasma cannon ray gun. Halo references be damned. ERB references be damned. But Leonidas still wins. Ada's gonna hate, but I don't care. Anyways, basically, Cassie just looks down and sees a hulking form of whatever, like sprinted off to attack Kano. Like, she saw the suit up, but this creature basically looks like the suit up thing, only bulkier and scary as fuck. She's like literally like shaking in her boots. She's like trying to calm, cool, and compose herself. But she just finds she can't in the presence of this form. And then all of a sudden, she just gets this strand of carnage shot into her shoulder, and like it's almost like the strand is like communicating with her, basically telling her what this is. Like the previous form is basically what he uses as his hero costume, like Izuku uses, and this form is the stronger version called the monster form, or monster form Carnage. And there's actually a form beyond even that, but he doesn't exactly know how safe Earthrealm would be if he just decided to use that willy-nilly. Half the time, he's not even certain, like, himself if he should even like think about using that. And that form he calls basically absolute carnage. And like as he's talking about these different forms, like there are basically images being like broadcasted into Cassidy's mind hole. So she's seeing all of this, and she's beginning to understand. And, you know, Izuku's even giving her the lowdown on the entire species of symbiote. To basically help her figure out, you know, the entire thing. And once basically everything is, you know, wrapped up pretty much, and, you know, the strand goes back in to Izuku Carnage, and Carnage Izuku, Cassie's just like, looks at Kano. She drops down from the balcony just to this big ass infectious smile, looking at Kano, and Kano's like, "Oh, what the hell is that all about? What the hell is that all about? What the hell are you smiling for?" And Cassie's just like, "He's going to murder you. You know that, Kano? He's going to kill you. He's not just going to beat you. He's going to kill you. And he's not just gonna kill you, he's going to humiliate you while he does it. And Izuku is like, damn, looks like she definitely got the message. And, while Kano is distracted, like, trying to pull a knife out to stab Cassie with, like, throw one at her, yeah, Izuku realizes, like, he just, like, nope! And he just, like, speeds over there, and basically, Thor versus Loki's the hell out of Kano. And then, at the end of the day, he just has a field day, like, one in right here, and then like rip apart, and Kano was now in two pieces. And just like, and he's just like, Carnage, just how hungry are you? And Carnage is like, oddly enough, I can't believe I'm saying this, hungry enough to eat that guy. That is, if Cassie's okay with it. And then Cassie's just like, oh, knowing you guys, sure. Plus, thanks for saving me. Both of you. And Izuku's just like, Izuku and Carnage just like, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing, Cassie. And, and it's just decided. Kano is now going to be eaten completely. And basically, it's so wild. Cassie realizes she actually enjoys watching Izuku eat people that are truly the definition of human pieces of trash. Because she just had a smile on her face while Izuku was eating Kano. Even the cybernetic eye got, like, gobbled up. Ah, yes. And he's just like, just thinking to himself. And he realizes something. Cassie looks pained. Beyond the whole scuffle that must have happened with her and Kano. And, eventually he gets into just the normal lean suit form, but he just speeds up right in front of her face and is just like wraps a bunch of web around her and even her mouth. And it's like, Cassie, explain. And Cassie's just gives him a look like, what are you talking about? And then Izuku just gives her that look like, remember? And Cassie just like, oh yeah, look inside of people. What did you see? And Izuku just like, so you truly don't know. And then Cassie just like, okay, fine. Stop playing dumb. Besides, I didn't exactly like the way you were looking at me, like you were going to use, blunt force in order to get the information out. Izuku's just like, damn, are we that intimidating in this form as well? Yes, we would never do that to you. However, the whole information, that means Cassie's like, yeah, I know. And Izuku's just like, Then why hadn't you told any one of them? Takeda, Kongjen, I could have understood. What about Jackie? I thought you two were really good friends. What about us? I mean, if we're going to live together, I think we should at least be able to trust each other. And Cassie would just be like, with the fact that monster, he only came back because he wanted it for himself. And he was like, that's it. I knew you looked sick for a reason. It's close to happening, isn't it? What exactly did Kano do to you that you came back here for? How bad is it? And Cassie would just be like, she would break down. She wouldn't be able to speak. She would break down crying. And just from that alone, Izuku and Carnage would realize that scumbag mother shouldn't be able to suffer for much longer. And Carnage is just like, you and me both feel the same way. And Izuku's like, and why shouldn't we? What he did to you. Johnny knew about this. You said your father's name is Johnny? If he ever figures out about this, and the fact that Kano was coming back to take it so that he could turn in the ways of the Black Dragon, the perfect middle finger straight to the Special Forces. A child in between. A member of the Special Forces' daughter and the leader of the Black Dragon. A child in between the two. The perfect middle finger towards the Special Forces and Johnny Cage. Damn that Kano. Well then. And Carnage would just be like, Izuku, I think you're missing a little bit of something. And Izuku's like, what exactly is that? Considering the age you two are at, it's the perfect chance for a third chance. And, you know, the whole history of symbiotes and everything about them wasn't the only thing that Cassie was privy to. Other things she was privy to, like Izuku's bad luck streak whenever it came to women. And the fact that every time, you know, he got a woman, they ended up dead. Married to him or not. Basically, Cassie would just be noticing, like Izuku and Carnage talking about this, and she'd be like, at least if I die, will you promise me this, Izuku Midoriya, that you will teach the child in the ways of defending of Earthrealm? And Izuku just like, special art all our own. Kano thought it was going to be funny doing what he did. Scarring you for life. How the joke will be on him. We will train him in a certain special art. A certain special martial art called the art of the symbiote. It's something that I actually do a lot of side training in, alongside my brother and his symbiote. Me and Carnage do. And hey, who says we have to wait for you to die in order to train him? Besides, you have the stuff that you do already on your plate, so leave the training to us, and leave the rest of being a mother to you. I mean, the whole thing about trust again, Cassie would be like, after what you just did there for me, I trust the both of you two doing exactly that. And Izuku and Carnage would just be like, well then it's settled. Basically they decided that whenever this child was born, basically once they had reached the appropriate age, they would be taught in the art of, basically in the martial art of the symbiote. And basically, eventually, word would spread eventually. Because, girls on their phones, Jackie would have actually, been recording, a certain something, basically a giant monster fight against some guy, some big old street thug trying to attack somebody. Jackie would just be like, holy shit. And basically she would take the recorded footage and, through doing some enhancement on the sound and, brightness of the entire, footage, it would be found out. The secret would be found out. And basically everyone on the team would now know of what had happened. Basically what Izuku and Carnage decided to do to Kano for being such a dick. They ate him after killing him. Or basically ate him and killed him at the same time. Pretty much. And, Johnny would basically just go up to Izuku and be like, you better do what you say you promise. If you break her heart, I will destroy you. Johnny having some big balls up in here, considering who he's talking to. And Izuku being like, Carnage, reserve yourself. It's okay. What's left now is to wait. Eventually everybody would have their own little baby shower for, the, the expecting little couple. the two little peas in a pod, like 2.5 peas in a pod, basically. And basically, once the child is born, there actually is something that puzzles, even after hearing everything about symbiotes and how they work, still puzzles Cassie to no end. The fact that he has green hair, the kid, and well, Izuku would just be like, it might just be the whole symbiote strand in your shoulder. There could be some crisscross applesauce genetic memory mind frickery. And whenever Johnny hears this, because Johnny's there too, whenever the baby's finally born, whenever Johnny hears this, he'd be like, so that's the reason why the kid has green hair, even though Cassie has blonde hair and Kano, well, who gives a beep about Kano? And he's gonna be like, yeah, wait. It seems that as his hair grows in, he might grow a little bit of a mix. And Johnny and Cassie wanting to know what the hell Izuku's talking about. Carnage basically filling everyone in, being like, there are certain strands of blonde hair underneath the green that have been able to spot. Possible that the dew will be a mix of both green hair and blonde hair. But the way the strands, the locks of hair were organized, it seemed as if the actual family-like relationship that you have to the Todorokis basically would work the same way as Shoto's hair does. Only instead of being red and white, basically Carnage is like where the red hair was for Todoroki would be green hair, and where the white hair was for Todoroki would be blonde hair. We Shoto Todoroki. Where the red hair would be for Shoto would be green, and where the white hair would be for Shoto would be blonde. Basically how the strands seem to be growing. And well, Cassie is actually quite intrigued by this. But now all there is the process of naming the kid. Now, let me see which way I should mix the two names, because I want to do that for this. Yes. Now, Kasuku sounds like some sort of Mummy Imhotep level bullshit. And the only other one that I can think of right off the bat is Izusi. Because Izuku and Cassie, So it would be UZ. No, wait. Shit. Frick. Good. God. Basically, it would be IZUSIE. Because the C out of Cassie. Basically, the Izu out of Izuku and the C out of Cassie. So, IZUSIE. Basically, IZUSIE. Izusi. And basically, it's going to be Izusi, Cage, Midoriya, Todoroki. And why are Midoriya and Todoroki specifically next to each other? Well, Izuku is both a Midoriya and a Todoroki, so that's why it would be like that. Plus, like, so yeah. It would basically be Izusi, Cage, Midoriya, Todoroki. And, well, indeed, as the child's hair would grow out, it would indeed be the Shoto Todoroki case, where one side was a certain color and the other side was a certain color. So basically, would have Izuku's green and Cassie's blonde, but on two different sides. There would be a green-haired side, and there would be a blonde-haired side. And something special about Izuku is that Izuku actually has longer hair that actually goes down to his shoulders. Yes, Izuku is a boy. So, yeah. There is a... Basically, the right side is going to be the green side, and the left side is going to be the blonde side. And for basically the eyes, basically the color green is the colors yellow and blue mixed. So, as a sort of subversion of what you would think, it either being yellow eyes or green eyes, it's going to be blue eyes, because that's like the color out of the three that's like missing. So blue eyes. And, you know, kind of Shoto Todoroki style hair. The right side being the green haired side, the left side being the blonde haired side. Or as they call it, greenette. Like green hair is like greenette. So yeah, basically Shoto Todoroki style, green and blonde. And the eyes are blue because if you take away yellow from green, you basically just have blue left. So, yeah, that's the only other color out of basically the color triangle that would make that would be left. So, blue eyes and a half greenette, half blonde style, like hair that goes down to the shoulders. Basically, shoulder length hair in that style. And if you guys are wondering about, like, a quirk that Izuku would have, basically, like I said before in the what if Izuku had the Carnage symbiote? What if, basically, like, the possibility of symbiote mixing, like, with, like, fertile eggs? Apparently, Lucky Strike number 2 does the same thing with Cassie. You guys might be wondering, like, but, like, are there's, like, any symbiotes left? Basically, seeing as and the whole Sans having the Carnage and Rat symbiotes thing, Azrael has Toxin as kind of like a symbiotic partner, and basically using the hourglass basically messed with time. I'm going to say that Scorn is going to be revamped. However, Earthrealm will have its own Miles Morales, so that will still happen. And around this time frame, basically they're going to age at the same rate. So basically, around the time that Izuku becomes, of age to do the whole thing of boyfriend-girlfriend, Miles would be of age as well. But also, being born with his symbiote, it would grow at the same pace. So her symbiote, seeing as she's basically replacing Ursa, will be Scorn. But it will be reborn Scorn. So Scorn is back. I just want to let you guys know that this last thing here, and you guys might wonder, like, what do you mean by last thing? Like, a last thing as in, there doesn't seem to be a DPD, like Detroit Police Department, patrol car going stakeout on this whole little happy moment. Why only stakeout, though? Only stakeout because whoever this is that's doing the stakeout, they're doing the stakeout because they're trying to learn about the person responsible for the demise of Kano. Yes, they are now learning a lot through this stakeout routine that they're doing. Actually, you guys might be interested to know that Izuku actually knows that this person is here and doing this whole stakeout thing. He's letting him do it. And actually, the person that's doing the stakeout actually gets this confirmed whenever Izuku actually looks over towards them, directly at them, and winks. This little wink for them. And, a little thumbs up. Like, but just slight enough so that no one notices. Except for the person doing the stakeout, that person being the Detroit Police Department's very own RoboCop. Yes, that's right. RoboCop got information that Kano was, taken care of. And so now his mission has basically been changed to, deal with the one who seems to be more than one, is how, like, the commanding officer seems to be putting. The commanding officers seem to be putting it. And now, just now, RoboCop is just now learning why. Because symbiote crazy shit. And, not long afterwards, RoboCop's gonna try to very subtly go back to his car, try to drive. I almost sounded like I'm a FUD there. Just get on with his car and basically get in it and be like, it's like, RoboCop is just like, commanding officer. And basically, commanding officer, basically, at the end of the day, it would just not be a good day for RoboCop. Especially towards the end of the day, where he gets an emergency call. Emergency call. Said something about these things. Apparently, it was a good thing that who they attacked just so happened to be looking for the chance to research them whenever they did attack him. The reason why that's said is because of the fact that he had been looking forward to it so much, he can understand their writing. The Yautja. Yeah, shit just got heavy metal up in this. Alonzi and doses. The Dark Shadow Maverick and I am out. O-U-T. Like, favorite, and subscribe. Click that little bell. Now my bones look at squish. And I'm a yeet and all the yeet. And above all else, misdirection. 150 subs, mother.